Welcome to the sorting practice worksheet. If you have the worksheet already open, which you should, you will see that what I have here, and I don't know if this is true or not, I just stole it from the internet. Okay, so, but what this is supposed to be is it's supposed to be a roster of women on a convict ship in 1830. What it is doesn't really matter that much because what I was looking for was a large chunk of data that we could just mess with, and this one seemed to be kind of interesting if it is in fact true, which it probably isn't. So, but we are going to mess with it and play around with it and sort the data in different ways, and that's what's important about this worksheet. So, the spreadsheet is really good at sorting data. The only part that's difficult about it at all is you have to know what information to give it to keep the data together. Here's what I mean. If I were to go ahead and just sort this by column D, what it would do is it would just rearrange column D and put these numbers in order. But then your problem is Mary Hagan right here, who is 60 years old and got a 7-year sentence for receiving stolen money, she would no longer be 60 years old because 60 would be moved down the list to where it fit if I was just doing a column D sort. So we need to tell the computer that whatever information is on a specific row, for instance, line 4, if the computer has to move this 60 down to keep it in line with the rest of the ages, it needs to move all of line 4 down with it. So this all needs to stay together. Now, the way you tell the computer to do that is you just select the whole thing. So I'm going to start my selection very carefully. Notice I'm on A3, the name. I'm clicking right in the center of that, and I'm going to select all the way across, and I'm going to select all the way down to cell L118. So I just selected all the way across. What that tells the computer is that any of the information that's on a specific row stays together. So if it's got to move 60 right here down to like row 100, it's got to move all of row 4 down to row 100 to keep the data together. Now, in Google Sheets, to do the proper type of data sort we're looking for, you would go up to the Data tab, and you can't use any of these because those are just quick sorts. It assumes you just want things sorted by the first column. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Sort Range. Notice the window that's popped up. This option right here needs to be checked because notice right here, we still have our header row in our sorting selection, and it's asking us to sort by column A, B, C, D, E. If we click this box, now notice that it's asking us to sort by the actual headers of each row. So let's just go ahead and sort by age. We're going to go from A to Z, and we're just going to click sort. And notice what that does for us. Immediately, it's changed everything around in our spreadsheet so that the age column is in order. And we no longer have Mary Hagan at the top. We have this Alice Robbins, who was 15. She got a 7-year sentence for stealing a shawl. Now, where did Mary Hagan end up? Well, if we look down column D and notice that the ages are all in order, we get to 60, boom, there she is. She ended up on row 115. She's still 60 years old. She still got 7-year sentence for receiving stolen money. So it took that entire row, moved it down altogether. Now, as kind of a side note, okay, that worked pretty well. It was pretty fast. Almost instantly, the computer rearranged the entire spreadsheet. But notice what you can do with sorted information now. If we want to look and see what kind of age groups were represented on this convict ship, we can see that all of our teens are right here together. See that? We can count those up if we want. Then right here, notice that all of our 20-year, there's so many people in their 20s, they don't even fit on the screen really. Okay, a bunch of those. How about 30s? Well, not so many. From 30 to 37 is all we've got. Not a whole lot. But then if you look here, our older group from 40 to 71, not very many at all. In fact, there's probably about as many of these as there are people in the teens. So by grouping numbers and data together, you can start to see patterns. Now, let's do what the spreadsheets call a double sort. Now, this only works when you've got large groups of data that are the same. Okay, you'll see what I mean in a second. But try this out. We're going to select from A1 down to L118 again, just like we just did. And then we're going to go up here back to data, sort range, make sure it knows we have a header row. But we're going to add another sort column. So first we're going to sort by sentence, and then let's sort by crime. And notice what this is going to give us. So what we're going to asking it to do is we're asking it to put all of the sentences together, because that's our first sort. So our 2-year sentences, 7-year, 14-year sentences are going to all end up together. But then we're asking it to alphabetize the crimes within those subgroups. So check this out. Click sort. Notice it did exactly that. It put everybody with a 2-year sentence together. And if you look over within that subgroup, all of the crimes they were convicted of are in alphabetical order. So in this situation, if you wanted to see what kind of crime got you what kind of time back in 1830, there you go. These are the 2-year sentences, and those are the crimes that got you 2 years in the slammer. Okay, or 2 years on the island, because what they really did was they put you on this boat and they floated you to an island. This one says that these people went to Van Diemen's Land, which I believe is what they used to call Tasmania, but I'm not 100% sure. But also notice that down here we've got our 14-year sentences, and all of the crimes that got people 14 years on the island are in alphabetical order as well. So that worked pretty well. We did a double sort. First it sorted by column H, and then within those subgroups it sorted in alphabetical order column L. Now, this NK down at the bottom. Now, I would believe that NK stands for not known. Why did they end up at the bottom? Well, because you'll notice that the computer is not asking us if we want these in alphabetical order or if we want them in numeric order. That's because to a computer, it's all one list. It always does the numbers first, and then it does the letters. So it puts all the numbers in order first, and then it starts working on the alphabet. So these are at the end just because they're letters. It has nothing to do with what NK actually means. The computer doesn't know what that means. Okay, it just knows that they're alphabetical, and that means they go after the numbers. So there's that. Now, let's try a couple of sorts that don't work. You probably still have this selected, but I'm going to do my reselection. I'm going to go back up here to data and sort range. I'm going to tell it again that my data has a header row, and I'm just going to sort by height. Click sort. Now, at first glance, this looks like the height column worked. We've got 410, 410 and a half, 410 and 3/4, 11. It looks perfect until it gets to here. And then our sort jumps from 4, 11 and 3/4 down to 4 foot, 8 inches and a quarter. So these are obviously not in order, even though the computer took its best shot. This is a pretty complex problem. The computer did its best to get those in the right order, but obviously it didn't work. And it didn't work probably for a couple of reasons. Number one, notice that each one of these cells has started with a letter of the alphabet. And then we have two numbers, but we not only have two numbers, we have a symbol in between them. And if you remember back to one of our last worksheets, that / symbol means divide. So the question is, which of these specific values is the computer actually using for the sort? I don't know. Okay, it's just, it didn't work. So if I were, for instance, a basketball coach and I really needed to sort my players by height, how could I do that? Well, my first thought would be, why are we cramming two numbers in one cell? We got plenty of cells. We got plenty of columns. Spreadsheets are thousands of columns wide. We're only using, a few here. Why have we got four numbers in one cell? So if I was going to do it in the American system, feet and inches, I would split this out. I would have maybe height header up here, and then I would split this into two columns, and I would have feet and inches. So the feet could be in one column, the inches could be another column, and then I could just do a double sort first by feet, then by inches, and then I'd be in like Flynn. It would work perfectly. It would sort them exactly the way they need to be sorted. The only reason I bring up that example is that if you are planning to have a spreadsheet do something like sorting, it could be anything, it could be lots of things. But if you plan on having a computer do stuff like that for you, you almost have to think about it ahead of time. Okay? You got to think, what am I going to want this spreadsheet to do for me? And then you have to actually plan it out in a way that the computer can actually do it. Because this right here, whoever planned this out, it wasn't me. I stole this from the internet, remember? But whoever planned this out didn't understand how a computer works well enough to actually plan that so that it could be done properly. Now, here's another sort that doesn't work. So I'm going to select the whole thing again. Hopefully you're following along. I'm going to select from A3 down to L118. I'm going to go back up here to data and then down to sort range. Make sure it knows my data has a header row. And then I'm going to sort by date and click sort. Now, here's the thing about spreadsheet. Notice that my date column is in not chronological order. It's not January, February, March, April, which it should be, but it's not. It is in alphabetical order. Now, the reason for that is, this is a weird reason, is that spreadsheets, in order to do like adding and subtracting and messing with dates, right? The spreadsheet understands all of the dates in the background as a number. Okay? In order for the spreadsheet to do that, and I told you this was a weird reason, in order for the spreadsheet to have a number in the background, the people who programmed the spreadsheet had to decide what is day number 1. And they just picked one. So they figured that nobody would need to use anything before 1900. So day 1 in most modern spreadsheets, day 1 is January 1st of 1900. So since these dates are older than that, they're in the 1800s, the computer is not understanding them as actual dates, it's just seeing them as words. Therefore, instead of putting them in chronological order like it should, it's put them in alphabetical order, like it did. Now, let's say I was an archaeologist and I really needed my spreadsheet to classify my findings by date and order them chronologically. I would do kind of the same thing that I did over here, or I suggested over here in height. I would take the date and split it into 3 columns. I could do numbers for the months. So April would be 04. I would do a number for the date. So it would be 27. And then I would do a number for the year, which would be 1829. And then I could actually do a triple sort. Sort first by year, then by month, then by day. Even if they're not in that order on my spreadsheet, I put them in any order I want on my spreadsheet. But if I did a triple sort, first by year, then by month, then by day, it would put these in chronological order. Pretty simple? Not simple. I don't know. Seems simple to me. Just split those out. But if these dates were all after 1900, the computer would handle them just fine. They would, in fact, be in chronological order. Okay? Now, I've been talking a lot about triple sorts. And when I grade this is what I'm going to look for. So hopefully you're watching the video still. Hopefully that you're following along. But we are going to do a triple sort. Okay, we are going to select from A1 all the way down to L118. We are going to go into data, sort range, make sure it says we have a header row. We're going to add 2 more sort columns, and we are going to sort first by religion, then by marital status, and then by surname. When you click sort, this is what you'll see. So it put all the religions together. We got all Protestants up here on the top. That's what I believe P probably stood for. And then we've got our Roman Catholics down here at the bottom. The second thing that it did is it sorted by marital status. So we've got our married people that are Protestants right there, and we've got all of our single people that are Protestants right there. And this W, I would assume, stands for widowed, because these are all women. But if you look within our Protestant married group over here on the left, all of their last names are in alphabetical order. Pretty slick, huh? So I can tell what religion they are if they were married, and then I have that subgroup in alphabetical order for whatever reason I would want them to be in alphabetical order. When you submit this, make sure you submit it to Canvas. There's instructions for how to do that in the assignment directions. But when you submit this, I am going to be looking for religion, marital status, then surname as the sort. This is the order I want to see stuff in. I'm literally going to highlight all of your Protestant married and look over and make sure that their last names are in alphabetical order. Same thing with Protestant single. Make sure all of their last names are in alphabetical order. That's where the point's coming from. I figure if you can do a triple sort, you can do a single sort just fine, and that you were paying attention. Okay? Triple sort, keep it that way, submit it through Canvas. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks for getting stuff done. Stay safe. Hope to see you soon.